Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're immersing ourselves in something that I have to say sounds incredibly romantic, maybe a little mysterious. A plant called Maiden's jealousy. Okay, let's unpack this. Our source material for this is wonderfully specific and really quite unconventional.
It's not your typical research paper, that's for sure.
Not at all. We're looking at gardening notes, part 752 of a huge series written by a self-described old software plumber who just happens to be, well, obsessed with botany.
And that background, the software plumber part, I think it really informs his approach. There's this obsession with accuracy, with, correcting common bugs.
Botanical bugs.
Exactly.
So our mission is to take his observations and just pull out every single surprising fact about one particular vine, Tristellateia australasiae.
And the way he even found it is a story in itself.
It really is. The author, Ang, wasn't out on some expedition. He was on a grocery run that just sort of spiraled into a photo walk.
Happens to the best of us.
Right. All because he saw this incredible flowering vine growing on a simple chain-link fence in a balcony garden. And that one moment led him straight into what he calls the identity crisis.
Which is where you have to start with this plant. The names, common, scientific, they're complex, and honestly, sometimes they're just plain misleading, especially about where it comes from.
So we have that beautiful name, Maiden's jealousy, but then there's the scientific one, Tristellateia australasiae. You were saying the name itself is a clue.
It is, and this is where that meticulous detail from our source comes in handy. The first part of the name, Tristellateia, it literally references 3 stars.
3 stars.
And that's not just a modern scientific observation. It translates directly into local names in the region, like Bungatiga Bintang and the Chinese name, which also means 3-star fruit.
So wait, everyone was seeing the same thing, from ancient observers to modern scientists, but what part of the plant looks like 3 stars? Is it the flower?
That's the logical guess, but no, it's actually the fruit. When the fruit capsule matures, it splits into 3 very distinct star-shaped parts, or carpels.
Wow.
It's this amazing visual confirmation. It links the plant's physical form to an ancient name and then right back to its modern scientific classification.
That makes the Latin name way less intimidating. It's just a description.
It's just a description. But the confusion, the identity crisis doesn't stop there. The geography is a big one, and our author is very, very clear about correcting this.
Right. He gets pretty passionate about it.
He does, because it's critical. The plant is widely sold as the Australian gold vine.
I've definitely heard that.
But our source points out, very firmly, that this is a misnomer. It's probably a catchy name from the nursery trade. This plant is actually a native species to his region, coastal Southeast Asia.
And that single distinction changes everything. It means it's not some fragile import you have to baby.
Precisely. It's perfectly adapted.
Yeah.
And the local names reflect that utility, not just some marketing gimmick. I mean, golden vine's fine. It's descriptive.
Sure, it's yellow.
Right. But a name like Pokak Bunga Kilulut is so much more telling.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means Kilulut flower tree. Kilulut are the local stingless bees. The plant is named that specifically because it's a vital year-round food source for them.
Ah, so that one local name tells you its entire ecological role.
Exactly. It connects the plant to biodiversity, to the local ecosystem, in a way that Australian gold vine just completely erases. And for our software plumber to see that and prioritize correcting it, well, it shows a real respect for getting the source code right, even in nature.
That is the core of what we try to do here, isn't it? Finding the truth behind the popular name. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's pivot from, the nitty-gritty of taxonomy to just pure aesthetics. Because the thing that first grabbed the author, a guy who admits he is not usually drawn to vine species, was how it looked.
It really does sound like a showstopper.
Yeah.
And the source describes this amazing visual composition. It's all about contrast.
Yeah. Start with the background. He talks about this dense, dark green foliage. It creates this perfect, evergreen canvas.
And then against that dark green, you get the flowers.
The flowers, which are this bright, brilliant yellow. 5 petals and just tons of them.
But the detail he highlights, the thing that really elevates it, is the stamens.
The red stamens.
Yes, a vivid, sharp red right in the middle, creating this electric little accent. Dark green, bright yellow, sharp red. It commands your attention.
It's like perfect color theory in a plant. But horticulturally, it's not just about one good-looking bloom, is it?
Not at all. And this is the key for any gardeners listening. The value he emphasized is its consistency. The maiden's jealousy blooms year-round,
Year-round.
which is incredible for continuous color, especially in a small urban space like a balcony garden. It's so highly prized.
Okay, year-round blooming sounds incredible, but that must take a huge amount of energy from the plant, right? Does he mention any kind of trade-off for this constant performance?
That's a great question, and it ties right back to the plant's home turf. The notes don't go into the specific energetic costs, but they imply that the plant is just built for it. It's built for continuous output because it evolved in an environment that's tough, but also resource-rich.
So its ruggedness is the secret. That resilience lets it just keep producing flowers, which I guess brings us right to its ecological context.
What's fascinating here is that the very thing that makes it great for gardeners, that year-round bloom, is just a side effect of it being so tough in its native habitat. This is not a delicate plant.
It sounds incredibly hardy, so where does it grow in the wild?
The source is really specific here, and it paints a picture of a really challenging place. It thrives on the landward edges of mangrove forests.
Wow, okay.
So think tidal swamps, creeks, coastal woodlands. You've got daily exposure to salt, shifting mud, intense sun, humidity. The fact that it can pump out those vibrant flowers constantly in that kind of high-stress environment is it's really impressive.
That context, surviving in a tidal swamp, that's the key. If it can handle salt water and mud, it can probably handle me forgetting to water it for a day on my balcony.
Absolutely. We can infer it's what botanists might call a facultative halophyte. It has mechanisms to tolerate and manage high salt levels. And that built-in toughness is exactly why it's recommended for a biodiversity garden.
Because it's so well adapted, it's already plugged into the local system, it's ready to support local life.
Exactly. The author recommends it specifically for that reason. It attracts these essential, very functional pollinators and birds.
And he's specific, right? It's not just pollinators in general.
No, he lists them: bees, butterflies, and sunbirds. That level of detail suggests it's a proven critical part of the local food web.
Which brings us full circle.
It does. Right back to that brilliant local name, Pocock bunga keluluut. It just hammers home its function as a reliable food source for the keluluut, the native stingless bees. And since it's blooming all the time.
It's providing food all the time, a constant resource.
Yes. In many parts of Southeast Asia, these stingless bees are crucial for pollinating crops, for native plants, but they're facing habitat loss. A continuous food source, especially one that can grow in a place that might otherwise be barren, is a lifeline.
So when you plant a maiden's jealousy, you're not just decorating, you're directly investing in the stability of a key native insect population.
The utility is just baked right into its identity. It's a whole ecological package.
So what does this all mean? We started this deep dive with a single gardening note from a software expert, and we've ended up with this really profound story about one vine, the maiden's jealousy.
But I think for anyone listening, the big takeaway is learning to see the difference between, marketing and meaning. We learned to look past the Australian gold vine name.
Right, to see it for what it is, a local native. We even decoded its scientific name, Tristellateia, the 3 stars in its fruit.
And we connected its sheer beauty, that high contrast green, yellow, and red, directly to its purpose.
Its ability to bloom all year, even in a harsh mangrove swamp, isn't just a neat trick. It's what makes it a critical food source for stingless bees, butterflies, and sunbirds.
This whole deep dive really just reinforces an idea for me, that the toughest, most resilient plants are often the ones with the deepest ecological value.
Yeah, and even the author who said he wasn't a vine person was totally won over. He put it on his long pending list for the future. That mix of beauty and sheer grit, it makes it unforgettable.
It really leads to a final thought for you to consider, based on that whole principle of looking local first. Given that this one plant, the maiden's jealousy, provides year-round blooms and vital food for specific insects like the keluluut bees, all while thriving in these really harsh environments, it raises a question for you, wherever you live.
Okay.
What other locally native resilient plant species are being overlooked in common urban landscaping in your area? And what measurable impact could promoting those overlooked species have on the biodiversity and the local insect populations right there near you?